All right, students, I'm attempting this with my phone, see if the video works out. Okay, so for fifth period, I am not here because I'm at the doctor, so please pay attention to the video. I expect your best behavior. After the video, you're gonna go ahead and finish the rest of the packet before you get the exit ticket at the last 10 minutes of class. If you are on the behavior list for the sub, you will have 2 days of detention with me. So please avoid that. I know you guys can be idea scholars. Please go ahead and show me that. So today we're doing domain and range of graphs. This one, like we talked about on Tuesday, this one's a discrete graph, right? So if it's discrete, my domain and my range will only be listed like we did in that class. So domain would be the x values. So for example, this right here is 1, 3, this would be 2, 4, and this would be 3, 5. Okay, so my domain would be the x values. So I will list it as 1 with the squigglies, 2, 3 would be my domain. My range would be the y values. Okay, so I would list it as 3, 4, and 5. Fairly simple. Today we're also looking at the domain and range of, this one is a continuous function. So there's no points, but everything in between those two, all of that is included in the domain and the range. Okay, so my domain again is my x values, which will be all those values here. Okay, so let me start with the domain. Where does it start? Where does it end? So this graph right here, this function starts here. It goes from 1 all the way to here to 5. So from 1 to 5. So my x is between those two numbers. Anything in between 1 and 5 is covered here in the domain. So I'll put domain is between 1 and 5, and I'll put the x because it's domain. Now I have to put in equalities. Whenever I have continuous functions, I need to put in equalities. So from here, it would be from the 5, this is going to the left, so it is less than 5. And from the 1, it is more than 5. Okay, so it'll be less than 5, more than 1. Okay, both of these are closed. Okay, so it'll be included, so I have to put the line underneath. Right, if you need to replay that, go ahead. For range, those are my y values. I'm gonna do the same thing. So just looking at the y values, this thing starts here at 1 and it goes all the way to over here, 6. So it's from 1 to 6. Again, they're both closed and closed. So the y goes from 1 to 6. From the 6, it is less. From the 1, it is more. So less than 6, more than 1. Remember the cookies? Okay, and then since they're both closed, or equal to, or equal to. Okay, I'm gonna jump to the next page and I'll show you number or letter F. So this one's pretty much the same, except there's an open circle. Okay, so my domain are gonna be my x values. And this thing goes from here from -4 all the way to 5. This is open, this is closed. So it goes from 4 to 5. So x is in between -4 and +5. From the 5, it goes this way, so it's less than 5 and it's open, so I leave it. From the -4, it goes that way, so it's gonna be greater than, and it's a closed, so I'm gonna put the line underneath. Okay, my range is this. So for my range, this thing right here goes from this, from 2, all the way to -2. So from 2 to -2. I usually put the least number first and then the greatest number over here on the right. So from the 2, it goes less, and from the -2, it goes more because it goes up, right? So from the 2 positive, it goes down, so it'll be less than, and that's my open circle, so I leave it. From the -2, it goes greater than because it goes up. So greater than, and this one has a closed circle, so or equal to. This next one, G, is a special case because as you notice, there's an arrow here, okay? So we're gonna do the same thing, but for domain, oh, I chose the wrong color, I apologize. This is supposed to be pink for domain. Okay, so for domain, I notice that it starts at -4, but then there's an arrow, so it keeps going forever and ever and ever in this direction, and it keeps including all these x's. So it never stops going that way. So it starts at -4 and it's just greater than -4 and it never stops. So there's no end point like this one had end points. This one doesn't have this end point, just that one. So then I could just say that x is, from here it goes to the right, so x would be greater than -4. And this is a closed circle, so I would put or equal to. So x is greater than or equal to -4. On the range, I start here at -2. But again, I have that arrow. As it keeps going up, it's gonna go up and include all these y values above because it keeps going on forever that way. So that means that for the y would be greater than, because it goes up, from -2. So y is greater than -2, closed circle, so or equal to. Okay, I'm gonna turn the page over to do another special case. And in this one, it'll be letter J. So for letter J, the special case here is, let me do domain and range here. Your domain is the same, right? It goes from the -5 to 5. So x is between -5 and 5. Not included. From the -5, it goes this way, and from the 5, it goes that way. So it'll be less than 5 and greater than -5. However, for the range, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just sitting here at -3. It doesn't expand either or. So that means that my range is going to be y equals -3 because it's right there, -3 and nothing else. So that's a special case on J. On K, it's a special case because you see here on the domain, okay, the endpoints are both here. However, this drawing starts right there. So the leftmost place where this drawing is would be right here at -4. So it really starts at -4. Any line that is a solid line is the same thing as a closed circle. Okay, so it would include -4. If I move it all the way down on my domain, see here there's one endpoint, but it keeps going. There's more here on the top, right? So it keeps going. So the rightmost point would be right there at 3. Okay, so my domain can include anywhere from -4 to 3. This is an open circle. So then x would be from -4 to 3. 4 would be included because a solid line is the same thing as a closed circle. And 3 would not be included because it's open. So it'll be less than 3, but greater than or equal to 4. Same thing on the range. On the range, your topmost would be this one, the 5, which is not included. Your bottommost would be -5, not included. So -5 to 5, it'll be greater than -5 and less than 5. Okay? So we turn the page over. This one right here would be the same. And I'm not going to do it completely, but this point right here on the range, because it is a solid line, it counts as if it were a closed circle. So make sure to include it. This one goes on forever. That one goes on forever. Okay? So for your domain, okay, because this one goes forever and it keeps like going this way and this one this way, and this one keeps going that way and that way and that way. So it covers all the x values. So my domain would be all real numbers. My range, however, my range starts right here at 5, but there's an arrow going down forever and an arrow going down forever. So that means that y would just be less than or equal to 5 and all of the numbers after that. Okay, so make sure you finish the whole packet and exit ticket.